ドキドキして目が離せなくなるその瞳、僕を虜にさせる魔法だったんだ。なんて恐ろしい魔法なんだ。
坊ちゃま、それでは私は買い出しがありますので。
So right off the jump, the maid I recently hired is mysterious, definitely came in and 100% did not disappoint. Right off the gate, it came in early. So first off, I have to say, I was not expecting this anime to drop until tomorrow. Originally, it was planned to launch on Sundays, but instead we got it here on Saturday. And really, it came and just impressed like 100%. And I am already really captivated. Just like our boy Yuri is captivated by Lilith, I am also captivated by her as well. And I really want to be able to see a lot more from this show. So really kind of what this show really is about, it's about this maid who essentially I don't know if she gets a call or a letter, and the letter basically states that Yuri was alone, and she basically needs to go and run to his, run and be his savior, in a sense. And she runs and is one of the only people to go and really show up for Yuri, as he recently has had to dismiss all of his servants that were at his home because his parents recently died in a car accident, apparently, and he's kind of left alone with this huge mansion and a lot of responsibility. And he attempts during the episode, as it kind of unfolded, to kind of like be on his own, be an adult, quote unquote, but he fails at every single corner, whether it's vacuuming or cooking or even just making toast. He just kind of fails over and over and over again. But to save the day, Lilith shows up and is there to kind of like, say, hey, I am here for you. I'm here to be your maid. I got the call and I'm here. And because he's really immediately captivated by, just kind of who she is, those big, beautiful eyes that he calls jewels, he immediately just says okay and he hires her, but not without suspicion. And he decides to mention that suspicion almost every third minute on the dot. He talks about how suspicious he is of her and kind of like her being here. And that's kind of seems to be like what makes the anime whole, in a sense, is, he talks about the suspicion, then he talks about kind of like how he's being captivated by her cuteness or beauty or style or whatever, and he's basically low-key confessing to her every time that he talks about her suspicion. And that is definitely one thing that I really, really enjoy, too. Now, the one thing that I don't typically enjoy is, I guess you would call this like a SHOTA anime. I think like a SHOTA-kun anime. It's mostly known in the hentai realm, but in anime, it does creep in every now and then. I think recently, maybe like last year, or maybe it was the year before, there was that Mother's Dormitory anime, which I would say is a similar vein. This one definitely seems more subdued, and it seems more of just the SHOTA thing, just kind of being happenstance for storytelling, as opposed to what those ones were, which is, lova stuff, So this definitely has a lot of interest. The other things that I found really interesting that I kind of took note of here is one of the things that's suspicious to me as a viewer is not knowing what time period this anime really takes place. At first, I was like, oh, he's at a mansion alone. His parents died, but wait, his parents died in a car accident. So does that mean we're talking 1940s? Does that mean we're talking present day? And then I was like, okay, maybe, by the way that the world began to kind of like fill out and build out, I was like, oh, okay, this might be like, mid-30s, mid-20s, like 100 years ago, still relatively modern, quote-unquote, but definitely back in the times. Then what got me thrown off on that is like, okay, car accident, okay, this happens. Then Yuri starts to, try to adultify, and there's a toaster, there's a vacuum, and there's a washing machine. Now I'm like immediately like, okay, that's current day stuff. So maybe this is current day. But then we find out that he's alone at the mansion. He seems to be self-taught or self-studied. He doesn't have a tutor or anything, so he's just kind of like on his own, essentially. So we have like this 12-year-old who's just alone trying to make it in the world all of a sudden. Very weird. A lot of questions that I definitely need answered for sure. Then when it comes to Lilith specifically, we and he doesn't find out her name till later on. We find out that at some point she was a maid of the house, a maid of his father or mother, or maybe she applied for the job but didn't get it. Regardless, there is paperwork on Lilith, so he finds out her name later on and he uses that. And throughout the episode, he constantly accuses her of, being a magician, being a mage, magic. And she's always playing along. The reality is she's just been studying and trying to be the best maid that she can be for Yuri. But instead of saying that, she constantly messes with him and says, yeah, I made a love potion. Or yes, I cast a spell on you. But it always backfires at her because when he said that she cast a spell, he was like, oh, it must be in your eyes, must be those beautiful eyes, which that wasn't the case. When she says, oh, I made a love potion, he was like, you need to stop making the love potion because every time I look at you, my heart beats. So she keeps putting herself in these really weird and really cool and really funny situations. So overall, it's really enjoyable, and I think the thing that makes it the most enjoyable is the fact that our main character, Yuri, is extremely gullible. So he just constantly keeps believing it because he's so suspicious of her. So I am in for the long haul. I really love this anime so far from episode number 1. I think this was a great showing, and episode 1 really set the tone for what's going to come. We're going to have more of these situations kind of like as Yuri and Lilith become more familiar, as we get to learn more about both of them, as Lilith begins to kind of like pan out herself as a character, we're going to be getting more of these situations, more of these not confusion, but more of these situations that they get put into where one's confessing and one's being suspicious, and are they casting magic? And I hope that as this happens, the world gets built and we find out more about what time period is this. Is there magic in the world? Is there not magic in the world? There seems to be cars, there's washing machines. Why doesn't he go to school? Will he go to school? Is it summertime that his parents died? Is he just studying to get ready for school? Is he self-taught? Is he like a homeschool kid? We need to find out more about all this stuff, but episode 1 definitely came out and said, hey, here's a reason to watch this anime, and it's Lilith, and you're going to love her, and god damn it, yes, we do. All right, my friends, that is all I have. I'm going to see you guys next week, next Saturday, apparently on Saturdays, for The Maid I Hired. Is it suspicious? The Maid I Hired is mysterious. I'll see you guys next Saturday for more, so let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. And my friends, catch you next week. Deuces.